Do not let these people scam you. This is all a racket, that you don't belong, that they're smarter, that they work harder, that they know more, that they deserve this more than you do. It's just not true. I grew up, fortunately in a predominantly Black neighborhood after white flight happened. Everyone assumed I was smart, right? I grew up as the salutatorian in my grammar school. I went to a top high school. I had the fortune of growing up in a validating Black environment. Black students, whether they should be going to HBCUs, and what happens when you get pulled out into a mixed environment where you are so underestimated so early. We talked about the messages that you start telling yourself. I didn't have that. My mentors, my teachers, the coaches, my dance teachers, they were all people who, if I made a mistake or if they doubted me, it was not because of my race, it was because I disappointed somebody in some other way. By the time I hit Princeton, thankfully, I had enough internal data that I could do a lot of things, that I was better, smarter, sharper than they would give me credit for. When I walked onto Princeton's campus as an undergrad, feeling a little intimidated because it was an Ivy League school and I wasn't a great test taker, although I was an outstanding student. I wasn't a good standardized test taker. All those numbers said that I shouldn't do well at Princeton. So I came in as an affirmative action kid, sort of feeling like maybe I don't belong in these ivory towers, and maybe these kids coming from these other schools are really so much smarter and better than I am. And I looked around and I was like, oh my God, well, there's all kinds of affirmative action that never talk about. There's wealth and legacy. There's athletic affirmative action. There were a lot of kids that were on that campus. And as I learned, continue to gain access to these seats of power that have nothing to do with their raw academic ability. There are a lot of bright kids who go to these schools, but there are a lot of bright kids whose parents get them into these schools. I came out of my first semester with straight A's. I was like, well, what are you talking about? Who are you? Why are you trying to mess with my head in this way when you guys you're not even working as hard as me? But it was infuriating, but it was freeing, because I was like, I get it now. You're just trying to get into my head. You're scared of me. You don't want me competing with you. And I think it was at that period, going to one of the top schools, that I was like, I'm done. I am done worrying about whether I belong here. This is a scam. I'm going to sit at these tables and I am going to run it from now on. Why am I listening to you? Why don't you listen to me? I think that experience for me was freeing in an odd kind of way. And a lot of kids don't get access. They're just blocked out, and it's